Welcome back, everybody, to the 503rd Legion. Today we have Kyle, and I'm bringing you my almost, I would say, if not completely finalized Palpatine yellow list. Today's going to be a shorter deck profile. I don't want to go too in-depth into like the cards or because I've done a few separate Palpatine deck profiles now, and I talk about a lot of these cards that are similar throughout all these lists to a great extent. And so if the cards are repeats, if I haven't used them in a list before, or if I've used them in a list before, I'm probably not going to go over them too long, but yeah, this will probably be my planetary qualifier ready deck list. I'm almost for sure that I'm going to play Palpatine yellow. There's a couple other deck lists that I'm working on, but this is the one that's felt the best and that I'm the most comfortable with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. So to start off with, as always, in my opinion, is staple 3 of in every Palpatine list. We have 3 copies of Salacious Crumb. The incidental healing is just really important. A lot of the times you have one resource left over, which you usually want to spend on gaining a life and then having a damage potential on the next turn. So Crumb is just honestly, just a staple in Palpatine. I play this in all of my lists, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. One of my favorite new inclusions, Poggle Lesser. This card generates a lot of bodies, especially since it's cheap costed at 2. Salacious Crumb with this is super cheap, just unit spread, unit hoarding, which is really good. You can play Emperor's Royal Guard with this because it's an official. Spoiler alert, I am not, because I don't think Emperor's Royal Guard is particularly positioned well right now. And I think that Poggle the Lesser, just making bodies for you to use Palpatine's ability with, damage stuff, or to further your Separatist package, is just way better. So really like Poggle the Lesser. Has been one of my favorite inclusions in the list so far. I would highly advise trying him out if you haven't already. I didn't try him out for quite a while, but now that I'm in testing him, I really like him. So 1 copy of Bazine Nettle. We are down copies on this card because a lot of the times on 2, we'd rather be playing Poggle, or we'd rather be playing a Salacious Crumb and then using Palpatine ability. It's not to say that Bazine isn't very good. Hitting this and a Crumb off of Vader is just really gross, because you heal 1, you get 2 bodies on board, and you rip a card, which is fantastic. And then the Smuggle comes up in late game where you want to take away their big bomb that they're going to drop on you in the late control games. But too many Bazine conflicts with some of the other cards that we're playing in this list. So right now we only have 1 in the main deck. 3 copies of Super Laser Technician. Green Villainy Ramp. 2 copies of Droid Commando, a 4/3 ambush, because we play a lot of Sentinel units now with Poggle the Lesser, and Elite P-38 Starfighter. So you can hit this off of Vader as well, which is a double ambush play basically, which is really good as long as you have another Separatist. And you're making a lot of battle droids in this list, which is really nice. So, and if you don't have your Separatist package online, you just resources. So I like Droid Commando a lot. It's just extra removal, genuine removal in a color combination that doesn't have genuine removal, etc. So I really like Droid Commando. 2 copies of Cad Bane, Hostage Taker. Just capturing swarms of stuff, especially in aggro matchups, is really important. I like Cad Bane a lot for that reason in particular. 3 copies has proven to be too many. You really want to drop this as a late game bomb or a mid game bomb against aggro decks, because you just want to suck up a bunch of units and then hope they can't remove it. But against mid range and control decks, if you play this too early, they'll just remove it with something pretty easily when they can use the resources to do so. So 2 copies have been right for me. 3 copies of Maul, Shadow Collective Visionary. We are on Maul because we're on a pretty decent Underworld package. We have 3 copies in the main here. I'm still experimenting with this. I usually am a hard proponent of 2 copies in the main, but we're trying 3 in this list for some particular reasons that I'll share with you guys here in a bit once we get further into the profile. But Ambush Overwhelm, when it attacks, you can choose another friendly Underworld unit and deal the damage to that instead, so you can protect them from damage, which is really nice. This card comes up in a lot of Palpatine mirror matches, so Maul's really good. Of course, we're in Green Villainy, so we're playing my favorite card in all of Star Wars Unlimited, Darth Vader, commanding the First Legion. Ambush 5/7. When played, search top 10 for any number of black units with combined cost 3 or less and play each of them for free. Just an amazing card. I love that it is ambush. You can hit your Separatist package off here. You can hit Crumb and Poggle. You can hit Crumb and Bazine. You can hit Droid Commando. You can hit, I mean, sometimes just hitting like a straight Poggle is sweet. You can hit Super Laser Tech. I mean, this, you can hit pretty much all your spaceships. Like, this card is just really good. 3 copies of Reinforcement Walker. Honestly, the best card in the deck. I'm trying to get several double triggers off of this, so like healing 6 and or drawing 1, healing 3 and or drawing 2 is like disgusting. So Reinforcement Walker is probably my second favorite card in all of Star Wars Unlimited, if I'm completely honest. So yeah, I love playing this card. This card is so much fun to play with, and it's like, this is the card that stabilizes you. In all of my like control, mid-range, or aggro matchups, once this card hits, if they don't deal with it and you keep healing, like, this is the stabilization card. So I'm trying to play this early, and I'm trying to play it as many times as possible. So I love Reinforcement Walker. This is like the card that keeps you alive, as well as like 9 health on a body is just like so disgustingly difficult to get rid of for some reason. Like, a lot of decks struggle to get rid of this quickly and efficiently unless they're in blue. So yeah, I love Reinforcement Walker. 1 copy of Confederate Courier. We just need more Separatist units. This is one of the best ones for a turn 1 play. Just creates a battle droid token of Undefeated for a 2/1 in space, which is good. 3 copies of Elite P-38 Starfighter, one of the best support vehicles or support cards that Palpatine has got since set 3. When played when defeated, deal damage to a unit. Excellent card. Benefits the Palpatine game plan. As a Separatist, so your droid commandos online. Just good stuff. All right, so this is one of my quote-unquote spicy techs. 2 copies of Geonosis Patrol Fighter. In testing, this card has been disgusting. Sometimes with Poggle, you're just making too many like battle droid bodies, or just like too many small bodies that you have nothing to do with, and so this puts it on a space body that also bounces something, which can set back aggro decks on tempo, or like mid-range decks can bounce something that they've put a lightsaber on, or like so on and so forth. So against control decks, you can bounce the ramp before they ramp with it, like if they're playing Super Laser Technician. So yeah, Geonosis Patrol Fighter and testing has been really, really good. I'm excited to keep testing this. But right now I'm really comfortable with 2 copies in the main. I was playing 3 for a short time, but that proved to be too many unless I was going heavy on vehicles. So yeah, very good card. I'm really liking testing it. And 2 copies of Devastator. Your late game bomb. Just as soon as Devastator hits the field, the game becomes about Devastator. Can they remove it? Can they not remove it? The game revolves around this once it hits the board. All right, 1 copy of Timely Intervention. You really only want to use and resolve this once per game with either a Reinforcement Walker, Double Trigger, or Devastator pop and ambush over something. So having 1, resourcing it, and then smuggling it when I need it is like perfect. So I've been really happy with 1 copy. I know most lists play 2, but I've been really happy with 1. Okay, 3 copies of Unmasking the Conspiracy. This card, in conjunction with 3 copies of Palpatine's Return, is disgusting. So as soon as you guys see this, you'll notice like the instant synergy. Discard a card from your hand. If you do look at an opponent's hand, discard a card from it. You're taking away their like mid-game play, their late-game bomb, their turn 1 play, and setting up for a Palpatine's Return on a Force unit or like a Reinforcement Walker later in the game. So if you draw those like late-game bomb cards that you want, you can just discard it and rip a card for them, and you'll still have access to the card you discarded later on. So this package right here is also a reason that we're on 3 Maul Shadow Collective Visionaries instead of 2, because you can play Maul on 6. Yeah, I mean, this package together has just been really, really good and really consistent. So this is why we're only on 1 copy of Bazine, because we're already on like more hand destruction. And Palpatine's Return at 3 just like makes your resources a little more manageable. It makes like your resource patterns a little easier to do, and you can play stuff cheaper earlier. So I love this package so far. Unmasking the Conspiracy has been so good against especially aggro matchups. Taking away their threatening early kill plays is really good. 2 copies of No Good to Be Dead. Card's really good against like mid-game aggro matchups, or like against those late game bombs like Devastator, Reinforcement Walker, or against like Anakin. Once they deploy their Anakin and he instantly becomes a problem, you can exhaust him and give yourself a respite from him punching your face really hard for a little bit. 3 has proven to be too many in my testing, so I really like 2. 3 copies of Sneak Attack. Again, this synergizes with the Reinforcement Walker, trying to get that double trigger. Reinforces with like playing Vader and playing Maul early. And at the start of the regroup phase, the unit gets defeated. So you can then just Palpatine's return it back. So it's like, sometimes you can play stuff undercosted for twice in a row because of Palpatine's return if it's a Force unit. Or it's just like, you play the Reinforcement Walker for undercost, and then the next turn you play it for its regular cost using Palpatine's return from the graveyard. So it's just like, you got 3 triggers of a Reinforcement Walker in 2 turns, which is like, I mean, that's instant stabilization. Sneak Attack has proven to be probably the best card in my list, especially in the way that I'm playing it. So I really, really liked this card. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about Sneak Attack, but yeah, it's been exceptionally good. Try it out. 2 copies of Waylay. We just need like quote-unquote removal since we're in yellow. We don't have like natural removal, so we need something that's gonna like keep us alive, bounce stuff to hand, blah, 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 blah. 3 copies of Resupply, just ran. And 3 copies of Overwhelming Barrage. This is our best form of removal. We're sneak attacking stuff, so we're playing stuff undercosted. We're playing stuff undercosted with Palpatine's return, so this is gonna be live a lot more often. We're using Poggle, so we're gonna have bodies more often. We're able to exploit a Geonosis Patrol Fighter, so we can get a body for pretty cheap if we need, and we can deal 5 damage as we want. Yeah, Overwhelming Barrage is very, very good in green-yellow list or green-green list. Like, Overwhelming Barrage is one of the best cards in the game. Yeah, so that's the main deck. I believe it's on 51 cards right now. I've really been liking how the deck is playing, especially against aggro and mid-range games. Sometimes control matchups now can be a little hard because I've tailored my deck a little more towards aggro, but that's what our side deck is for. So in our side deck for control matchups, we have 2 copies of Relentless. This is the best card in control mirror matches by far, and it's not close. 3 copies of Change of Heart. Again, another card that's excellent in the control mirror matches late game. If you're playing multiple of these, taking their units, attacking with it, defeating it with Palpatine, exploiting it with Geonosis Patrol Fighter, whatever you want to do to remove it, like, or just punch them with it. Like, this card is so good. So those are our control matchup cards in the side deck. And then because Sabine is probably the best deck in the game still, we have more cards for that matchup. So we have 2 copies of Bazine Nell. This puts our like hand rip potential at maximum capacity. So disrupting those aggro matchup plays is really, really good. And then we have extremely efficient and extremely cheap removal. So once we board all 5 of these in, we have a lot of Underworld units that we can bounce with McClunky, which is 1 cost, deal 3 damage to any unit anywhere. So this can also be a double hand rip with Bazine. So you play Bazine on 2, rip something. Turn 3, you go McClunky, bounce your Bazine, deal 3 damage to unit, play your Bazine again for 2, rip something else. So these in conjunction with each other, or matching with each other, is just very, very good. So yeah, these come in versus aggro matchups, and depending on the mid-range matchup, they can come in for that. Like, it depends on the health of their units, but yeah, a lot of the time these have been really, really effective. So there you go, guys. That is probably my list that I will be playing for the upcoming planetary qualifiers. I'm really excited to continue to test this out and perfect it. But I think I've landed on something really, really solid and really, really efficient here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Happy holidays. And again, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel. It's been really helping us out. We really appreciate all you guys' feedback and positive comments and all that. So thank you so much. May the Force be with you. Happy holidays.